Carpe Diem. My name is Ultranatic, and here's another Total Drama vlog going again over Total Drama Island 2023 Season 1. I should probably make that a little clearer because I'm sure a lot of you have heard the announcement that Season 2 of this reboot will be premiering in Italy in about a week and a half. And I'm especially excited. I'm hoping that just like the first season, that when it gets revealed there, that the English dubs come out at the exact same time and I can just watch through those. Given how good in general this season has been, even with its weak points, I'm especially excited because I'd like to see more of this cast and more of what they do. This episode that I'm going to be reviewing today, which is titled Tortoise Rigamortis. I actually love that title. That's a great title. Actually holds up to that stare because I actually think this is a very, very good episode. Not perfect, but very good. Like the one flaw I probably have with it, I think it's gonna be obvious what it'll be, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Because otherwise, I do like a lot of what we get. Although the opening's a little rocky, and that's not even the weak point I was talking about. The opening shows Priya and Millie affirming their friendship with like friendship bracelets. Sure, why not? It's a teensy bit less cringy than Katie and Sadie, but they get like extra chummy at that point to the point where I'm almost gagging at it, and so is Julia. So at the very least, the show knows that there's gotta be some cynic in the group who does not care for this kind of like kumbaya kind of camaraderie between the contestants. It's the final five. I kind of agree with Julia. I'm not saying I'm against this friendship, far from it. It's just a matter of like, hopefully y'all are in it for the money. So we got that. Julia tries breaking them up by mocking how the bracelet that Millie made compared to how Priya made, because Millie's looks a lot worse than Priya's. It doesn't work whatsoever, so we then cut to Bowie having a conversation with Emma, questioning why the heck Emma and Chase got back together, but he knows that revealing what he thinks about that is going to be bad for his game, and it's basically confirmed that he also voted out Chase that round. I didn't think that was that big a surprise, because it would have been at least, like, it had the showman's alliance, if you will, of Chase, Emma, and Bowie voted separately. It wouldn't have mattered as long as the girls' alliance of Priya, Millie, and Julia all voted the same. But it does make sense that Bowie would also vote out Chase because he's Chase. And he obviously didn't care for how he was, like, just acting in general. But then we have, in private, Julia try to inform Emma that, yeah, Bowie obviously voted out Chase. Which Emma's like, nah, he wouldn't do that. You're just trying to break us up. To which Julia's like, why? I'm in an alliance with Millie and Priya. I'm safe either way. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I do like to try to justify that, like, this is not, like, me trying to break y'all up. Really think about what makes sense. And honestly, Emma should think about what makes sense, but she got back together with Chase. I'm going to assume there's not a ton of sense at all in her brain right now. But, I mean, if she wants that relationship, I can dislike it, but she's entitled to it, I guess. I don't know. But at the very least, but that being said, as far as that alliance I mentioned for the girls' alliance, I'm happy that they kept the continuity with that, because if this were the original seasons and all that stuff, they would have just flat forgotten about it. Like remember when Heather and Lindsay tried recruiting Izzy for their alliance in the Hide and Be Sneaky episode? That never comes back into play again, I'm pretty sure. This actually kind of stays. Sort of. It gets broken up later on, but we'll get to that in a minute. So we have Chris announce the challenge, which is take your selfie, throw your selfies, I think. I forget what he called it, but basically it's a mixture between like a safari hunt with a selfie-based challenge. And I remember the promo for this season mentioning challenges like this, and initially that made me really concerned. But when you really get down to this challenge, it's not specifically geared towards like the younger generation. I mean, it kind of is, but not in a way where I'm like, where I think it excludes any other generation. It is, again, basically a safari episode where you gotta take pictures of animals, and the more dangerous the animal, the more points you get, and the person with the most selfies / points by the end of an hour wins immunity. Pretty straightforward challenge, and again, the one caveat is that unlike most safaris, honestly, I bet even people who do regular safaris do this too, you have to be in the shot, and no one else can be. Honestly, that's fine. I can work with that challenge perfectly okay. And the people just go off on their own separate ways. We see the Girls Alliance kind of compete to get a selfie with a bunch of lions, and initially I like that little that competitive spirit between them. And Emma, while I was worried that her entire arc this episode was going to be just about the whole chase thing, which it kind of is, but I was worried that'd be all. It's not. There's actually a lot of good that comes with Emma too, because her competitive spirit also comes out in full bloom. Maybe her kind of just getting immunity by accident in the last episode, maybe that fueled her, because she was on point in this episode when it came to the actual challenge. As the Girls Alliance are around the lines, she sees that they're all in a group text, like every member in the Final Five, and she realizes they're all right next to a bunch of lions. I'm going to send some message or something, and let's hope that their notifications are off, because if they're not, those lions are going to be woken up because they were sleeping. And sure enough, one of their phones go off, and it alerts the lions, and they cower in a tree for a little bit. And then Emma, actually thinking that maybe she can't trust Bowie, tricks him into walking away from a situation, and she gets the sole points for those lions. I love that viciousness. I really do. You think, oh, hey, that's a pretty cold-hearted thing to do. I don't care. It's the Final Five. Go for the win. I 100% appreciate somebody being this hardcore about actually getting to the end by this point. So, and even that, she doesn't go too far. I mean, yeah, she endangers the lives of the Girls Alliance, but at the same time, it's total drama. They're not gonna die. Have you seen this show? These characters cannot die. It's easier to kill Rasputin than it is to kill anybody on Total Drama. And anyone's thinking, what about some of the contestants from All Stars who got thrown into those balloons? I somehow doubt they're all dead. They could be. I'm gonna bank on no, so I have no idea. We then see Emma and Bowie go after a smaller, less dangerous animal in a bunch of raccoons, to which I'm like, okay, I guess they haven't seen much of the show, or of raccoons in general, because I'm sorry, raccoons are not non-dangerous, if you will. I mean, they turned to a transformer in the first seasons. They were shown to be quite sophisticated in the Total Drama action when with Beth in the episode Top Dog. I don't know, they're not like poor, timid creatures. No, they're not like that. But Emma does succeed in getting the selfies. I'm happy she had her flash on, because she does it while they're all in a dumpster. And Bowie is left, again, with no points after that. We then see the Girls Alliance basically oust Julia because they don't like her, and she's also the biggest threat left in the game. That's fair. I mean, a little stupid, but at the same time, something else I like about the episode is that it gets kind of personal. Not like the nasty or like too intrusive kind of personal, but personal. Like old school Big Brother and Survivor kind of personal. Yes! More stuff like that. I am so for the whole, no, we just don't like you. We're not going to freaking work with you. How could you do this? How could you vote that person off like that? It's like, yes, like more of that stuff. I know you're thinking like, isn't that bad for a social game? Give me the messy gameplay. That's always fun for me to watch. Yeah, then we get Bowie and Emma. I don't know why I said there. Bowie and Emma get a Canadian geese. Basically, those geese you saw from Boney Island in the first season. They have like the sharp, jagged teeth. And they realize, oh yeah, it's a lot more dangerous than we thought. We thought it was just a regular goose. Well, no, I've been around regular geese. they're not non-dangerous side. They can get territorial. I've been chased by geese before. They will like hiss at you. I don't even know if these geese have teeth, but it was territorial and like nearly chasing after me when it thought I was trying to get close to like some of their babies. I wasn't, but they're a goose. You can't really reason with that. So either way, yeah, a regular goose already plenty dangerous. A Canadian goose apparently a lot more dangerous. I have no idea if that's true for like IRL Canadian geese, but I'll take the show. But either way, for the show's sake, it's meant to be more dangerous. All throughout this challenge, by the way, Emma is trying to confront Bowie about that vote. And here's the part that I'll admit is the one significant demerit in the episode. Because of course it is. It's surrounding Emma and her feelings towards Chase. It's not just that Bowie voted out Chase. It's that she thinks that when she was venting to Bowie about all the terrible things that Chase did to her, which drastically outnumbers everything good that he ever did for her, like, and that's just stuff on the show, and most of the good stuff he did was not for her, it was all by accident, whatever, but most of that stuff, she's like, you agree with me about how bad it was? Yes. And she's like, and because that, you hated him, and you wanted to break us up, and we got apart. I'm like, oh my God. This chick needs therapy. Not couples therapy. Not couples therapy at the same time, but like regular therapy. Are you listening to yourself? Are you looking back at this footage, Emma? I don't know, it's the one demerit, and honestly, given how good the rest of the episode actually is, at most I would deduct like 10% from the final grade. So it still gets roughly a 90. So as much as I'm like groaning at this kind of logic, if you will, the rest it's I can't dwell on it too much. It's not like the focal point of the story, thankfully. So Bowie says like, okay, I gotta keep it together. I can't let her know about what I think. And then he just vents that, no, I voted out Chase. Chase is freaking awful, and the only person more pathetic than him is you for trying to stay with him. He's basically saying what the audience is thinking. Of course, that means Emma does not want to be aligned with him anymore. I mean, on one hand, he did call her pathetic. I somewhat get it, but stupid move at this again, like, I'd be more mad about that if I thought that it was, supposed to all be smart. The smart moves in this episode are for how the challenge is done. When it comes to actual numbers and like getting to the next round outside of Wayne immunity, that's the messy, stupid stuff. But I kind of like that. So as long as like one part's being done smart and the other part, when it's not being done smart, is entertaining, I'll accept it. I can accept this easily. Now that's over, we see an anthropomorphic crocodile get a hold of Priya by the friendship bracelet that Millie made. And Millie, in a very clutch moment, saves Priya's life by taking the friendship bracelet that Priya gave her and putting it over the croc's mouth. I think you're both out like one friendship bracelet now, I'm pretty sure, but that was awesome. Again, there's a lot of good here. I mean, I haven't minded Millie throughout most of the season, to be fair, but like that's a massive like 10 out of 10 moment. Like freaking kudos to Millie for that. Then we see Bowie knows he's basically a dead man walking. Like every possible resource for agency he has in the game is like getting snipped from him one by one. His alliance and friendship with Emma, the fact that he knows he's a big threat and that he has no points so far in this challenge. I will admit, that is kind of intriguing just to see like how low can a person be sent to. It is kind of funny seeing that with Bowie. I like Bowie, but it is a little entertaining on that level too, so that's all I'm saying. But he tries getting a selfie with 3 animals to get himself in the lead, but they run away because of the Canadian goose. And it tackles Bowie to the ground, of course. We see Priya and Millie try to get what they think is a rabbit out of a bush, but it's revealed to be a bear. That's a very... It was hiding under a very small bush. How does this make sense? I'm not entirely sure, but all at the same time, like, the bear then gets feisty. I'm like, is the bear mistaking Priya for Scary Girl and trying to get revenge? Because remember what Scary Girl was doing, like boom, 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 like that. I'm still on the whole Scary Girl high. She was awesome. But yeah, he's like tackling Priya or like hurling her around, I guess. And Millie's like, "Hey, stop that!" And the bear just turns to her. That worked. Millie's response is the same thing. Wait, that actually worked? I'm not gonna lie, that should be stupid, but it's stupid to the point of being funny. It's supposed to, it's like, how does that work? I don't know. But again, it shows a lot of bravery on her part, and we see Julia take a selfie with the bear as well. I'm not entirely sure the points should count because Millie technically is in the shot, but Julia is able to cover it with like a hand, like waving. I don't know, like, that's kind of a gray area, but I can't say it shouldn't outright be counted at the same time. Now, to save Priya's life further, Millie puts her own phone / her chances of winning immunity in the bear's mouth, and she and Priya escape. That's 2 times you saved Priya's life in one episode. Can you see what I love about this? It's not just that's a really strong heroic moment, which it is either way, but damn, that is awesome. That is like really, it's the weird thing is a lot of these moments, if you really think about it, shouldn't be like that spectacular to me, but I don't know, if you really like stack them up like one by one, it's like, it's a whole lot of like really good high points. Of course, Priya has a major concussion and her own phone got destroyed in the tussle, because of course it did. And that leaves 3 people left in the competition. But it quickly gets dwindled down to 2 because Bowie's phone gets eaten up by the Canadian Goose, and he loses the challenge with precisely 0 points to his name. That is so tragic. It's, again, a little teensy bit funny. And that, of course, leaves Emma and Julia. And to Emma's credit, her strategic maneuvers in the challenge before are not the only thing she had going for her. She's actually getting a lot of points as is on her own, and I thought that was really cool. Like, I can have problems with Emma, but if you give me something good that I can, like, grab a hold of, like, I'll praise that when it pops up. And this is a very prominent part, how she's kicking ass in this challenge. After that, we got, again, can't talk, what's wrong with me? We have Chris let slip to the other contestants that there's a big point getter on the air side of the pond. He lets slip because he has hands on like the PA system. I'll admit, I do find it funny when they do that intentionally on accident, on purpose, however you want to phrase that. And of course, there's a mad dash for Emma and Julia to get that final point from a tortoise. However, it's not just any tortoise, it's one that I'm gonna guess was trained by Splinter, because he knows karate. I know it wasn't karate outright from the TMNT, but you know what I mean. It's a martial art technique. And yeah, they're both trying to get the selfie, but the tortoise is giving them a real run for its money. That's why the episode's called Tortoise Rigamortis. I'm just now realizing, by the way. It's not really that prominent. It's like kind of subtle, but I like that too. It's not just a good pun, but it's not expressively obvious. That was pretty smart. The Rigamortis part comes in after Emma gets on a ledge and inadvertently, when she's like hanging by it and has her fingers taken out one by one by the tortoise is flung in the air, presumably killed because of this. But Julia happens to get the point with the tortoise and a selfie with the tortoise and wins immunity. Again, I gotta give Julia credit too. She's kicking ass and she has a major killer instinct in this game herself. Which is good, because even she acknowledges in the episode that because she's so bad at having good social relationships, her only option is to win immunity. That's a pretty bad sign in the game, but it's an entertaining sign, especially when you do come in clutch so often, and you prove to be a pretty strong threat. Now, once you lose immunity, you should go home, which they probably should have voted her out in the last episode, but Either way, this is plenty entertaining. Now, once they all get to the marshmallow ceremony, Julia actually milks the Tortoise's death and makes it sound like Emma did that on purpose. That is so dirty and evil. I love it. I can't help it. It's like, well, that's not terrible. Well, first off, it's a bit of major irony for Emma, because remember what happened when Chase cut her brakes? She ran to a pet store. Oh, this cannot possibly help. But yeah, Emma's like, you all can't possibly be believing this, which I thought was stupid. Like, really? Are y'all actually gonna believe what Julia says? She's very clearly a scheming villain. But of course, Bowie's not in her corner because, they broke up that alliance. And Emma's crazy. I can't say I fully blame him. And then the marshmallows come out, and it comes down to Bowie and Emma as the final two. I'm gonna assume Emma voted Bowie, which begs the question, why does she look to him for support? Like, he's not gonna, like, you're voting him out. Now, maybe that's a last-ditch effort for him to make a stupid move. I don't know, could have worked, but it doesn't. And, of course, Emma goes home. And I do like that we are shown in confessional right after that Millie and Priya did not actually vote for Emma because of the Tortoise incident. It's because she did so well in the challenge, and they saw her as a threat because of that. That's smart! Yes! Again, there's a lot of moments I was watching the episode and I was like, yes, that's the right move for you to be making if this were like a real-life strategic game. I like that they wrote these characters kind of smart. Again, maybe not every character, but smart when it counted. So I'm really happy about that. And then it ends with maybe the one other cringy moment, I guess, with Emma saying, like, she doesn't regret anything with Chase. And she might not be leaving with $1 million, but she is leaving with a boyfriend. That'd be touching if it was not Chase. You see, here's the thing. I think it's touching when people like Sam and Dakota get eliminated in Revenge of the Island because they had good chemistry. And and for one thing, Sam was all on like, I just don't want to be voted out first. Well, he doesn't. Well, goes for that already. But yeah, he gets with a really beautiful girl with a father with a lot of money, no less, by the end of it. And I think he's just happy to have that happen to him. And yeah, the fact that she becomes a mutant afterwards is apparently just a bonus for him. I so would have liked to see more of Sam and Dakota, like, together. I think y'all would have made a fantastic couple. I think you are a fantastic couple, but I would have liked to see more of that fantastic relationship between y'all. But I digress. I'm praising a different season at this point. When I should be praising this episode, which, yeah, I liked a lot. Again, maybe there are parts with Emma that didn't quite sit with me, but to be fair, it was only about half. A little less than half, to be fair, of what happens with Emma that I didn't like. The other larger fraction I thought was really good on her part, and I liked everything we got from the other contestants. We got Priya needing to be saved for once, and Millie legitimately doing it, facing her fears. We see Bowie kind of down on himself, which you'd think I wouldn't be much for, but it shows that, yeah, he's not invincible himself either. And Julia, again, like, being clutch in the challenge. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of good I got from this episode, and I'm really hyped for this Final Four that we've got, because it is some major strong hitting players. I guess you could argue that Millie's the least strong, but even she has one immunity win under her belt. I mean, it was kind of given to her by Priya, and then Priya was, but whatever. It's like, either way, I am rooting for all four of these people. Well, okay, I'm kind of rooting against Julia, if you will, but not because I really hate her. It's just because she's the villain. Don't you want someone a teensy bit less villainous to win? I don't know. Honestly, I'd be kind of satisfied if she won too, because she did work her tail off in this game. But we'll see how that all pans out. And that concludes this vlog. I'm really happy with what we got, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.